The unofficial ban on Pakistan's actors has now been extended to Pakistan's films. The organisers of the much-hailed Mumbai Film Festival have now blocked the Pakistani entry, Jago Hua Savera. Organisers say it's been done because of the present situation and atmosphere. The sudden move comes as the unofficial ban on Pakistani actors has divided Bollywood completely. Single-screen owners in 4 states have buckled to threats by the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena and said they will not screen Karan Johar's Ae Dil Hai Mushkil, which has a Pakistani star Fawad Khan in it. 2 big Bollywood stars have spoken out against the ban on Pakistan's artists and Indian films after the Uri attack. Priyanka Chopra, whose father was an army officer, has openly condemned the ban, claiming targeting artists is unfair. She says actors were being held responsible for a larger political agenda. Alia Bhatt also has extended her support to Karan Johar, saying the film industry is a soft target. But that's not the view shared by many others. This comes after filmmaker Anurag Kashyap targeted Prime Minister Modi for not apologizing for his visit to Lahore in December last year to meet Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. He was roundly criticized for taking on Modi while defending Karan Johar.
मैं समझता हूं इस समय पाकिस्तान के कलाकारों का समर्थन करना, टेक्नीशियन का समर्थन करना भारतीय सेना का अपमान है.
It isn't just films. For the first time, not a single Pakistani writer is attending the Kasauli Literary Festival held in the memory of the legendary Khushwant Singh. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let me first show you how Bollywood is split straight down the middle on the issue of whether Pakistani actors should be allowed to act in our films. I'll take you through some of the major celebrities and the positions they've taken. Of course, Ajay Devgan is one of the actors who stands to benefit because Ae Dil Hai Mushkil comes out at the same time as his film Shive. He's come out and said Pakistani actors should not be allowed. Batting for the Pakistani actors being continued to stay in Indian films is Salman Khan, amongst the first voices to take a public position against the Pakistani actors. One of the other voices has been that of Rishi Kapoor. Against the ban, Priyanka Chopra has spoken out very strongly, saying that this is not about terrorism. Why target Pakistani actors? Makes no sense. Alia Bhatt has also taken a strong position against this ban. Speaking for the ban has been Ritesh Deshmukh. That's not all. Also against the ban, of course, is Karan Johar, whose movie is at a crossroads. Remember, 400 theatre owners have come out and said they won't allow the film to be released. Madhur Bhandarkar, who's another producer-director, he's spoken out in favour of the ban, wanting the actors to be kept out. Anurag Kashyap has taken amongst the strongest positions. He's, of course, come out and targeted the Prime Minister himself. Then there's Randeep Hooda, again somebody who's spoken out in favour of the ban. Apart from this, there's also Radhika Apte, who's spoken against the ban. Nana Patekar has spoken in favour of the Pakistani actors being banned. Om Puri has spoken against the ban. Anupam Kher has spoken in favour of Pakistani actors being banned. Then, of course, Nawazuddin Siddiqui is somebody who said that actors should be kept out at this time. And finally, Abhijit Bhattacharya, who will be joining us in a moment from now. Let me now take you through the big tussle between filmmaker Anurag Kashyap and Modi ministers Dharmendra Pradhan and Kiran Rijiju. First, let me take you through what Anurag Kashyap tweeted. He said, Prime Minister, you haven't yet said sorry for your trip to meet Pakistani Prime Minister. It was the 25th of December, the same time that Karan Johar was shooting Ae Dil Hai Mushkil. Anurag Kashyap wants to know why. He goes on to say, sorry, Prime Minister, and you actually diverted your trip on our taxpayer money while the film was being shot on money which was someone else paying interest on. I refuse to live in the fear created by blind fanatics that you cannot have a conversation with your Prime Minister or question him or have expectations from him. Kiran Rijiju tweeted this morning to say, a new fashion has developed in India. A student or a film person can put a question or speak against the Prime Minister without any logic, he says, just to get into the news. That's not all. He added, a new fashion has developed. A student or a film person can put a question or speak against the Prime Minister without logic to get into the news. Dharmendra Pradhan also put out a tweet. He said, every citizen, including Anurag Kashyap, has the right to question the government. But is it right to blame the priest for the failure of one's marriage? Dharmendra Pradhan then added, stars of Bollywood must understand that people of India look up to them, so they must be careful and responsible with their words and actions. So Modi ministers lambasting filmmaker Anurag Kashyap. Bollywood split down the middle in a way that you very rarely see. Most often, Bollywood loses its tongue. Very few stars actually come out and take a very, very strong position. Now we're seeing someone like an Alia Bhatt, who's usually considered apolitical, also a Priyanka Chopra, who's considered ordinarily non-controversial, coming out and taking a very, very strong position. Abhijit is joining us on this broadcast, well-known singer. He, of course, was on the side of those who are asking for this ban. Squaring off against Abhijit tonight is Shahzad Poonawala. Welcome, Shahzad.
Thank you.
I want to go across to Abhijit first, because Abhijit, we've seen the position that Priyanka Chopra has taken. Abhijit, do you hear me? Abhijit, can you hear me? Give me a moment as I try and fix that audio connection with Abhijit. In the meanwhile, let me ask Shehzad about the two reactions we've seen from Dharmendra Pradhan and from Kiran Rijiju. Kiran Rijiju saying it's becoming fashionable to criticize the Prime Minister, while Anurag Kashyap says, no matter what fanatics may think, I have the right to question my Prime Minister and have a conversation.
Well, I think Mr. Rijiju is behaving like the spokesperson of the North Korean government. Maybe for a government in North Korea run by Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un, it might be fashion to question the head of state or the Prime Minister. But in India, it's a democratic right. So, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, it is not fashionable to question the Prime Minister. In fact, the current Prime Minister, when he wasn't the Prime Minister, would question the former Prime Minister on everything under the sun. So, was it fashion then? And secondly, please tell me this. If Karan Johar makes a film and he's retrospectively guilty of not understanding the nation's sentiment, this is the word BJP spokespersons are using a lot. Here is a challenge to the BJP spokesperson who comes to your next show. Mr. Adani has a 4,000 crore project of electricity which is supplying electricity to Pakistan based on Indian resources and loans taken from Indian banks. The MFN status continues to be with Pakistan given by the government of India. The Indian government has clarified to the Economic Times and various other channels that they'll continue to give visas to Pakistani people, not just
and
artists.
Actors. Okay.
And actors.
Let me see if Abhijit is back.
Let me have the
Abhijit,
BJP
can you hear me?
spokesperson. Let the BJP spokesperson say this, that if Karan Johar is anti-national and he should respect national sentiment,
is that they're more interested in making their own money than they are in what their compatriots feel about.
I completely agree. So if that is the parameter and money and commercial interests don't matter and national sentiment matters, it should be applied not just to Karan Johar's film, which should be delayed, delay Adani's project by a few months, take away the MFN status, and also let's have trade which is going on in the Uri sector worth 400-500 crores. Let's delay that as well. If you only apply the parameter to the soft target, the low-hanging fruit, then it seems that you're trying to divert attention because you really can't go for the kill. And what are you going after? You're going after Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, you're going after Atif Aslam. Are you seriously telling me that instead of going after ISI and instead of going after Nawaz Sharif, we are going to settle for these guys? Is that the question?
Okay, let me just check once if Abhijit can hear me. Abhijit, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the newsroom. Tell me, sir, the question that's being asked by those who are speaking in favor of Karan Johar is that when this film was being shot, at that time, the Prime Minister was making an outreach towards Pakistan, trying to set the relationship in a direction which would move forward. Now, if things have gone wrong, how is it Karan Johar's fault? Why should his film have to suffer? Why should Pakistani actors have to suffer? At the end of the day, they are not the terrorists. Are we going after easy targets by targeting the Pakistani actors and by targeting Bollywood producers like Karan Johar? Abhijit.
Yeah, it's like he is a prime minister. Prime minister is the country's prime minister. He is not a political leader. He is a prime minister. Prime minister's job is to go everywhere, whether to Pakistan or Nepal or US. So it was a very kind and very nice gesture of our Prime Minister. Whether it if Manmohan Singh would have done the same thing, I would have appreciated the same thing.
I'm not sure the
It was a
BJP.
very nice gesture. Same thing Atal Bihari Vajpayee did, and we got Kargil in return. So what was wrong? But who is Anurag Kashyap? Anurag Kashyap is no one. He is the most besharam, anti-national person who for a Kauri ka Pakistan ke liye, he dragged our Indian Prime Minister to so low. ये उसकी हिम्मत है
No. One second, Abhijit, you can disagree. Abhijit, you can disagree with what Anurag Kashyap is saying, but surely Anurag Kashyap has the right to say what he wants. You know, as Shehzad just pointed out, India is not North Korea. You can have an opinion which is unpopular, you can have an opinion that is contrarian, you have the right to have that opinion.
But in what reference? But what contest? In what subject? Just for one Pakistani artist जिसको पाकिस्तान में खाना नहीं मिलता है, जिनको पाकिस्तान में भूखे मरते हैं, उनको कुछ नहीं मिलता, because they get a job, they get our money, and he is tagging Prime Minister in the reference for a Pakistani small artist.
No, but I don't think you're responding.
I think Rahul, there's a false binary being created here. First of all, Abhijit, hear me out.
We will not tolerate.
No, Abhijit, we know you're intolerant, but let's hear each other.
Against our Prime Minister for Pakistan.
Okay, see, this is the problem. Being loyal to the Prime Minister is a completely different thing than being loyal to the country. Alright? Oppositions can't be loyal to the government of the day, otherwise there would be no democracy. Now let's get a larger point in perspective. They are saying that Karan Johar should retrospectively, he casted these people when the situation was better. That's when Prime Minister Modi also visited Pakistan. So he should pay a price for casting somebody a year ago. So by the same logic, Mr. Prime Minister who visited Pakistan, whose Pakistan policy at that point of time was a complete failure, because after that we got Pathankot, and in Pathankot then you had ISI coming and investigate. By the same logic, if Karan Johar should be made to pay a price, logically Anurag Kashyap is asking that the Prime Minister must also apologize.
Let him respond.
And secondly, here's the question, that if Karan Johar is being made to pay a price, or taking these nobody is defending the right of Pakistani artists to work here. All we are saying is that let the government of the day say that is the policy, and we'll follow that policy. But if the government of the day says we'll give visas to these artists, we'll allow CBFC to clear the films,
both are good points.
Then Anurag Kashyap is articulating the government's policy by saying that, listen, some people are threatening us and that shouldn't be allowed.
You know, both are good points. Abhijit, first and foremost, the Ministry of Home Affairs has put out a clarification saying that Pakistani stars will not be banned. That's the government's official policy. They will not revoke visas given to these stars. The CBFC will go out and give them permission to release their film. If that's the government's policy, why should somebody be taking a position contrarian to the government's policy? And why should you call him Besharam, anti-national, etc., etc.? Even the government is not saying what you're saying.
Rahul, I am not concerned what government is saying. I am not concerned what Shehzad is saying. You know, no political. We people of India, it's high time. We should not tolerate this. Karan Johar is making money. Mahesh Bhatt is making money. That is their tradition. That is their system. To import them from 125 करोड़ इंडियंस के आपको टैलेंट नजर नहीं आता है. आप क्यों पाकिस्तान की चमचागिरी एंड मक्खनगिरी करते हो? दैट इज माई पॉइंट. नाउ दिस इज द हाई टाइम जहां पे हमारे जवान लोग मर रहे. एक मिनट शहजाद, मुंह बंद रख.
I appreciate your language. I expect this from you. I expect this.
लोग इंडियंस को मार रहे हैं एंड मार रहे हैं और हम लोग पाकिस्तान के साथ शूट कर रहे हैं. वो दे आर शूटिंग अस. हमारे जवानों
को मार रहे हैं. No, but Abhijit, the point that you need to respond to is this.
Here's the point.
No, the point that you need to respond to, Abhijit, is this. When this film was being shot, that's the time the Prime Minister was in Lahore. Abhijit, please listen to me. When this film was being shot, the Prime Minister was in Lahore hoping to build bridges with Pakistan. If that didn't work out, why should Karan Johar, why should Fawad Khan have to pay the price? How is somebody supposed to know that things could go wrong? That's the question that you need to respond to.
Who is Fawad Khan? Why should we be bothered? Who is Karan Johar? Who is Fawad Khan? Why should we be bothered about Karan Johar and Fawad Khan? Who are they?
Okay, let me just point out the hypocrisy in the argument.
They should be punished.
And this Karan Johar makes money or doesn't make money is immaterial.
Right.
There's a national sentiment involved.
I completely agree there's a national sentiment, but I think Abhijit is not the barometer of the national sentiment. The government of India, where Modi ji won by 31% of the vote, is probably the national sentiments barometer. And if he is taking this decision of not banning Pakistani artists, is he then anti-national? Is Abhijit going to say that the government which is not taking this decision is anti-national because not understanding the sentiments of 125 crores. And here's another point. If Karan Johar has to pay for taking some act of retrospectively, a BJP MP who runs a channel actually made Fawad Khan a household name in this country. You know that. So I think he should come out and apologize first. But they're not targeting the BJP MP. They're not targeting the BJP MP Shatrughan Sinha, who's advocated just recently that let's have peace talks with Pakistan. They're not targeting other people affiliated with the BJP, Mr. Adani, whose business continues.
Okay, final words, Abhijit, final words, because the point still remains. Well, what you say, national sentiment, is also not something that's being echoed by the Modi government. The Modi government has not once formally or officially said what you're saying. They're saying Pakistani actors can come, they're saying Pakistani films can be screened, and yet somehow a hysteria is sought to be created where you're saying national sentiment doesn't allow these Pakistani actors to be present. Let people decide. Would this not be a better way of doing this? If you think, like right now there's a social media campaign against Chinese goods, let people decide whether they want to see a Fawad Khan, Karan Johar film or not. If they go to see it, that's their wish. If they decide to boycott Ae Dil Hai Mushkil and watch Shivai, that's fine, that's good for them. Let them decide. Isn't that the right way to do it, the more democratic way to do it?
See the result. Yes, let people decide and see the result. Now.
Okay, but you know, for all the people's decision making, the government of the day has also clarified, Nirmala Sitharaman clarified, we are not banning Chinese products. So they're not paying attention to that sentiment either, which is prominent on social media. And who are the icons of this Desh Bhakti Brigade? Akshay Kumar, who's given up Indian citizenship and taken Canadian citizenship, and Ajay Devgan, whose name figures in Panama leaks. So really, let's cut the hypocrisy. I think Anurag Kashyap and Karan Johar are far more patriotic than a tax evader and a guy who gave up his Indian citizenship. So let's be real and let's come down to the brass tacks. If Modi government is not doing it, they're as anti-national as Karan Johar is.
Would this not be the right way? Abhijit, are we in agreement that let there be a decision by the viewer? You say don't go watch the film. If somebody wants to go watch the film, it's his wish. So let people decide whether they wish to watch the Karan Johar film or any other film which stars a Pakistani actor or not, instead of one notion of what is national sentiment being imposed on others.
Rahul, at the cost of हमारे जवानों के शहीद होने पे, at the cost of their blood, the entire nation is now against these people. Or the nation, you are right, let the nation decide. And I am sure you will see the result, you will see the happening, what will happen to this movie. It is no more government, it is no more nothing, it is we the people of India, we are with the army.
This is fine.
Army
Okay, this is fine. I still agree with this. Let people decide. You know, right? Like there's a big social media campaign, don't buy Chinese goods, traders telling us that the sales of some Chinese products, firecrackers, decorative lights, is down about 30%. That's all right. It's people's choice. If they don't wish to buy Chinese products, let them exercise their choice. But let one notion of what the national sentiment is not be foisted on others. And this is a line the newsroom has taken from day one. Let people decide whether they wish to see a Pakistani actor or not. Let's not browbeat people by building a false hysteria. It's absolutely not the right way to do it. Shehzad Poonawala, Abhijit, for joining us on the newsroom, thank you very much. Let's shift our attention to the other big story today. A story about temple politics in Ayodhya. Remember, the India Today Mood of the Nation opinion poll last week showed that 0% of the people of Uttar Pradesh thought that the Ram Mandir was their main reason to cast a vote for one party or the other.